Okay, part two of this interview is we're actually going in a completely different direction and actually back into your past, and something totally different. We mentioned in part one about your transition, and you actually started off as a paramedic.
Yes. Well, actually, in high school, my senior year in high school, a friend was volunteering with the ambulance service and telling war stories. And I was like, man, that's messed up. And he says, just come right along with us. So my senior year, I rode along, and I loved it. I was a Boy Scout previously, so helping people was part of me. With running on the ambulance, my senior year I became an EMT. After years of running as an EMT, wanted to do the more advanced treatment, so I became a paramedic. So spent 25 years in EMS, 8 as an EMT, 17 as a paramedic. I worked for services all over the valley and all over the areas.
And that's actually the services have actually, like, the companies have actually changed a lot. I took notice.
Oh, there's a lot of different changes. A lot have gone out of service due to financial constraints. It was an honor to work for the city of Allentown for 5 years. I've worked for many services. So the 25 years that I've been involved, I wasn't able to retire from EMS, and just it takes a toll on your body. It takes a toll on your emotional state, your mental state, and I needed to change. And but I wouldn't take that back for a second. I loved being a paramedic. I loved helping people. In fact, this week is EMS week. It's ending up, but it's sort of to recognize all the EMS providers throughout the area, throughout the nation, doing EMS. It's the stepchild, if you will, of emergency services. We're not really recognized that much, and EMS week is a thank you.
Okay.
To the EMS providers doing it.
Since you brought that up, there's something interesting here on the East Coast that just recently happened. You just gave the perfect segue into it. You're doing my work for me now.
With EMS week being the third week in May, the National EMS Memorial Bike Ride is a bicycle event that goes from Boston to Washington, D.C. over a week long.
That's a bit of a hike.
It's about 550 miles in that area. So they ride to honor, remember, and memorialize those that have died in the line of duty, died in EMS. We recognize all deaths. So even the disease, anyone who's been in EMS who's died, we recognize all of them. The EMS Memorial Service is a separate entity. They recognize those just the line of duty deaths. But we feel, as the National EMS Memorial Bike Ride, anyone who's served in EMS needs to be recognized and for their commitment and service. So anyone that's died in the field.
Okay, well, when we were talking when you got here, you said, like, with EMS, no matter all over the country, it's like you're part of a family.
Yeah, EMS, it's because of what we do, because of what we see. It's a tight-knit group. It's a family. We know what each other's thoughts, what we've seen. We've seen things that people should see. So we form a sort of a tight-knit bond and a brotherhood, brotherhood and sisterhood, if you will. With the EMS Memorial Bike Ride, it's even more close-knit. It's a family, more so, because not only are we in the field, but we've all suffered losses. So we all grieve together. We all remember. We all can honor those that have died and gone before us, our mentors, those that just mean so much to us in the EMS.
I mean, just because it's the classic example, 9/11.
Absolutely.
You know, when the towers went down, Katrina. I'm sure there might.
But every day there's emergency responders that are killed in the line of duty. It doesn't have. 9/11 is the one major event.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to everybody's mind.
But every day there's providers that are attacked, assaulted, hit by cars on emergency scenes. suffer cardiac events after taking care of a stressful call, and in their everyday lives, they have health issues also. They have diseases, and EMS as a whole doesn't take care of ourselves. They don't take personal fitness to heart. So if you look at a mechanic's vehicle is always very unmaintained, while the work they do is top-notch, incredible. You want them working on your car. It's sort of the same thing with EMS. They're top-notch providers, dedicated. You want them working on you if you're having a crisis, a medical event, or an emergency. But a lot of times, they're the last ones to take care of themselves. They eat horribly because of the shift work that they do. They have to eat on the go because at any time the tones could go off for them to answer to someone else's needs. So they're literally eating fast food, they're eating on the go. Their sleep patterns are horrible. They don't see their families. They miss events, they miss graduations or family outings. It's just, as tremendous as the field is, there's a lot of hardship.
It takes a very serious personal toll after a while.
Yes, it's a severe personal toll. There's a lot of depression, a lot of PTSD that's not addressed in the field. And it's, again, as EMS providers, we don't take care of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure part of it is you're so used to taking care of other people that you don't even...
We're put on the back burner.
Yeah, even if you consciously think about it, it's like, oh, okay, I'll get to it, because you're so used to taking care of everybody else, am I right?
Exactly. And the working out, having a workout routine. Oh, I just worked a 24-hour shift, or I worked overtime, and I've been up for 3 days because I've worked nonstop at 4 different services because I'm trying to pay my bills. I don't have time to go work out because I need 3 hours of sleep because my shift is in 4 hours. So we're always on the back burner to ourselves.
Okay. Now, you mentioned about how everything that DMS sees as far as what you take care of. If I would have to guess, and I'm not, this is going to sound like I'm making light of it, and I'm not. One of the first requirements is you better have a strong stomach.
Well, yes.
It sounds like I'm making light, but it's I wouldn't be able to do it because I don't know. I literally don't have a strong stomach for that. Blood and gore just...
It takes a special person to be able to handle and do what we do, what I used to do. You get used to some things. There's some things you can never get used to. Certain smells, certain sights. You can, just repetitive, you can sort of get used to some of the blood and the gore. You can never get used to the personal aspect of it. The emotions, it tears you apart.
I'm sure it's especially hard when you have to treat a child. I'm sure it's probably...
Yes, a child, elder, anyone.
Okay.
A child especially. We see things that can't be unseen.
Mm-hmm. The stuff that doesn't make the media.
There's a lot that doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's just, even the 911s of everything. You think that the blood and gore, that's absolute worst. But even the non-emergent transports from a nursing home or from a home to a nursing home, or back from the hospital. Those patients are just as important. They're your grandmothers, they're your grandfathers. They're sort of the lost. They're forgotten because they're in facilities, and they're hurting, they're depressed. And you spend some time with them. One, you're listening to them, so they're eager to talk. Some of these older nursing home patients, they're with it, and I mean they're people that have served in the military. They've lived this past century, so the stories they have to tell, it's amazing. So it's just someone listening to them, but then it's the ones that can't take care of themselves, their families putting them in a nursing home, and they wail, "Please let me die at home. Please let me die at home."
I remember
That's
that's what my grandmother wanted to do.
so there's so many things involved with not just blood, guts, and gore,
Yeah.
but the personal aspect of it also.
Yeah, so the more emotional and psychological aspect is a lot harder than trying
At times.
than the
Yes.
physical.
Yeah, at times.
Okay, so I actually asked that question at that time for a reason. I know, well, the way it used to be when we were growing up, a lot of people wanted to do that. If I remember correctly, a lot of people wanted to volunteer,
Oh, absolutely.
BEMS, but like you said, it takes a special type of person. If anybody from someone in high school to 40s, 50s, whatever, wanted to get into that, now they, you said about, okay, look, this isn't as easy as we make it look. What can they expect? What would they, like, qualifications should they have? When they honestly look at themselves and say, can I do this?
If they want to help people, they can do it. It's basically the willpower. It's the wanting to help is the most important. And you don't have to jump right into it. You can do a couple ride-alongs. You can research it. You can get information from the local community college or the local ambulance service. Anyone wanting to do it, I would say try. It's a fantastic career. It's a very rewarding career. It's always changing. It's challenging, but it's also very thankless. It's you get the thank yous, but you also get you're a jerk. You get the finger at times. Or why are you blocking that intersection? Get out of my way. It's.
Well, do you ever get the, why didn't you do more?
Why didn't you do more?
I apologize for asking that.
Why didn't you do more? Why aren't you doing this fast enough? Why are you just standing there preparing equipment? And there goes City of Bethlehem as we speak.
Yeah.
But you don't want to run. You want to do something methodical. Would you rather rush it and quick and fumble, or take your time and do it correctly? There's an old saying, haste makes waste. The faster you go, the more mistakes you make.
Mm-hmm.
So in the time of crisis, while it seems like forever that something's taken to do it, you're methodically doing something, and you're actually doing it quicker because you're going slow.
Right.
And
you're reducing the amount of things that can go wrong, even having that person become a possible death and casualty.
Exactly. And it's not an overnight training to be an EMT or a paramedic. There's months and months and even years of training that go into this. So the knowledge base is there. It's just the general public doesn't understand what it takes and what we're doing, and what we're doing is leading to the course of the action. So while it looks like we're not doing something quick enough, or while we're just standing there while someone's beating on someone over there, well, we have to protect ourselves.
Right.
We need the scene to be safe for us. Without us being safe, we can't help them if there's a chance for them to be helped.
Yeah, again, please don't take this, I'm not making light of this, even though it may sound like a joke, but the last thing you want is to have another ambulance called for you.
Exactly.
And you're not trained to get involved with a conflict.
Oh, I mean, we
you are to a point, but
we don't know what's involved, whether there's knives, weapons, a hazmat situation.
Mm-hmm.
But without us being able to be there to take care of them, now it's going to delay even more.
Mm-hmm.
So we need the scene to be safe for us, so that we can go in and take care of people. But people don't understand, and that they feel we're taking too long, we're not doing enough, I'm not doing it right. We're trained, and there's a reason that we're doing it that way. We're doing it.
Now I'm sure part of the training is also the textbook. Also,
oh yes,
it's not all just hands-on on the job experience.
With EMS, there's continuing education. There's textbooks. There's videos that can be seen, but there's always more education. There's always learning more. There's always learning more drug interactions. There's always learning more drugs or everything. just with medications and everything. So you need to be up to date on a lot of stuff in order to keep functioning.
Okay, now I just want to ask one more question. We'll wind this out. When we were talking when you first arrived, they said, as far as like the emotions go, don't go into this expecting, oh wow, well, I can shut down my emotions and deal with it.
No.
Do not go into it because
Absolutely
it can't
not.
be done from what you told me.
No, you can sort of block them a little bit, but you can't shut down your emotions.
Like
You're
people
not
say,
gonna save
look at it
everybody.
like an object, or look at it like a movie versus actually experiencing it.
Yes, you can sort of tune it out to a point, but by tuning it out, you're still seeing it. Your subconscious still sees it, still hears it. It's still affecting you, even though you're going, oh, I'm good, I'm good. It's still taking its toll. The best possible comparison could be MASH, the TV show MASH, with
For the younger generations, Google it, watch
Google
it.
it.
It's
It's
highly,
fantastic.
it's highly, you'll love it. Trust us.
MASH. MASH is a war area,
Korean War, right?
Korean war area medical first aid unit on the war, and the hell that they see took its toll on them. Even though they tried not to, it took its toll on them. And that's exactly what EMS. The best comparison is that old TV show to what EMS is.
I remember one of the not the final episode, but the final season where Hawkeye ended up having to see a counselor because they were in a bus he was in a bus with a lot of patients, and the patrol was going by, and he kept and after the incident he kept seeing like the lady killed her chicken, not
her baby.
Yeah.
She actually killed her baby to silence it because the patrol was going by.
Right.
So no one else would. And so he saw it. He tried to block it out, and that's exactly.
He started drinking real heavy and.
Exactly, and that's one of the things EMS does is turn to vices like that. Again, we don't take care of ourselves.
Right.
But you can't block out the emotion. It's there. It's seen. You can withstand it for a while, but it's still there.
It's going to catch up to you eventually.
But everyone, the younger generation, Emergency with Johnny Gage and Roy DeSoto, that's the Hollywood. That again, that was one of the most realistic shows of its time with paramedicine.
Mm-hmm.
And most people who saw that wanted to become.
I remember that.
Paramedics.
Yeah, I remember. That was what, back in the 80s, wasn't it?
70s.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. That was back in the days of Code Red and it was the firefighter equivalent of it was like one Code Adam Red or something.
Adam 12.
Yeah.
And everything.
Adam
like
12
that.
was the cop. Code Red was the firefighter. Yeah.
Emergency. But it does take its toll. So it's you can't block it out forever.
Okay. So again, since just like ended part one, honestly, any advice to people who would be considering it, or any advice to, like what you said about, you also get the bad of it, because, we talked about the downside to it. I'm sure there has to be an upside to this.
Oh, there's tremendous upsides. Helping people, delivering the baby for the first time in the back of the ambulance.
Now that I can never do.
Well,
I'll fully admit I couldn't.
Luckily,
couldn't do it.
The one that I delivered was not in the back of the ambulance. It was still in the house. But,
Okay. I just couldn't deliver a baby, period.
The patient who's in severe pain and you're able to administer medication and you take away the pain, or we're able to assist with fractured femurs with a traction device. They're in excruciating pain, and once you're able to pull that traction and it sort of realigns, you just see the calm go and go, oh, thank you. Yeah, the thank yous where you truly make a difference, is it's just being there. You're going to help somebody. The people are calling when they're at the worst, and just being that calming force to be there for them, it's helping them. So if they want to do it, do it. It's a tremendous.
Just be ready for all sides of it.
Well, be ready for some emotional.
Don't go into
breakdown.
thinking you can be a Superman and help.
Exactly. You want to talk to friends, coworkers, but it's a tremendous field. And if you can't do that per se, find a volunteer service and be an auxiliary staff. If they do fundraisers or something, you're still helping out.
Maybe
the
be a
community.
dispatcher, maybe.
Dispatchers, it's not that easy either. The telecommunicators, they have a thankless job. They are never seen, but they're the common force for the fire, the police, the EMS. When we're screaming for help, they're getting it there.
Mm-hmm.
They're on the phone. They can't see what's there. The dispatchers are the life force of EMS, of police, of fire. They're there 24/7.
Yeah.
So are all the other services.
But they don't get a break.
They're the ones hearing the scream on the phone. They're the ones hearing the scream of the EMS, and they can't do anything other than try to get someone there quicker or try to answer the questions the best. They are truly an important factor, and they're never thanked. So dispatchers are very important.
Sun's out and I feel drops of rain. This is cool.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much for your time
Thank
on
you.
both of them, Sam. I actually wanted to hit both because both are very important to helping people,
Yes.
and I can understand why you chose to become a public adjuster. I can, and people can now understand the transition and the fact that you are still helping people.
Absolutely. And it's being a public adjuster. It's not as physical.
Right.
So it's also a lot of fun, and I can continue to help people.
But it's more psychological with the pay. One thing most people hate: paperwork.
Well, it's paperwork, but it's detective work, if you will, because we're finding everything that's involved with the damage.
Okay. Now, one final question is thought of. Like I told you how I do the interviews.
Okay.
For both, a very important requirement though would be you have to be able to like and deal with people. Am I correct? That would be like one of the first.
I would have to say yes.
Okay, because somebody who's like you remember when I was growing up how antisocial I was.
Yes.
I would make a bad EMT or I would have made.
Both deal with the public, both deal with people, both deal with a lot of education and answering questions. So yes, you have to enjoy talking to people, enjoy helping people, enjoy people.
Yeah. Don't ask me, now that I'm back and doing this magazine, don't ask me where I became at the moment I became social because I couldn't tell you. But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.